Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the start of a new week. Happy all the things for this week. Intending that we start the week off with some high energy, some spiritual coffee, as I like to call it. I'm going to wait for y'all to join, jump in, say your good mornings. We are on part 4. So we've been doing a 4-part series talking about the science of getting rich, specifically for entrepreneurs. And today is part 4. So I see that you all are joining. Happy Monday to you. Happy start of a brand new week. Intending that this series has served you and oh, look at you all coming in. Intending that the series has served you and really opened up your thinking, your awareness, your heart, your spirit, just to I think in essence, if I could say it, it would be the ways that we are supported by the laws of nature and wealth. All of us have this. Well, let me just say, not every single human has a desire for wealth, but those of you that are part of this family and come to this conversation every Monday morning, I know that the desire for wealth has been placed in your heart, or you wouldn't be here. So yay! Happy Monday morning to all of you. Awesome. I love it. I love that in our family, we share love with each other. We jump in here every Monday morning, kickstart the week in each other's company and presence. And for those of you that are new to this experience, we're here every Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. Come join us, watch the replay, whatever it is. There's always a little something to get you going for the week, to get you thinking, to get you to the next level is my intention always, my prayer always. So this morning, I want to jump into part 4, which is the missing piece of your wealth creation puzzle. Now, we've done 3 parts so far, and I just want to do a quick recap. We've been talking about the law of wealth and the fact that it is guaranteed for all. And I don't know about you, but for me, that brings this peace, this certainty, this like I don't have to struggle. I don't have to worry. I don't have to try to figure it out. It's literally guaranteed for all of us. And in order for us to truly understand and own that guarantee, the promise of that law, I've broken it down into 4 parts just to help you to see the pieces that maybe you haven't seen before and understand the little last bit that is needed. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But for the purposes of reminding you, I'm just going to go back to part 1, which was, what is your purpose? What is your reason for existing? And it is to express yourself to the fullest. The science of getting rich says the whole reason you're here is to express yourself in mind, body, and spirit to the fullest. And everything that's needed in order for you to do that is bountifully and abundantly provided for you. Everything, not some of the things, everything that's needed. And so we know in the science of getting rich, it says you have to have wealth, you have to have the financial capacity and capability in order to live your life to the fullest. In order for you to expand your mind, you have to be in good health. In order for you to be in good health, you have to have the resources, live in great condition. In order for you to expand your spirit and fill it up with the things that bring you joy, whether that's traveling or painting, you have to have the time to do it. And all of these things require money. They require wealth. And so the science of getting rich says everything that is needed in order for you to live out your purpose is bountifully provided. And one of the distinctions that I made in part 1 of this series was helping you to understand that your business is not your purpose. Your business is a channel that will allow wealth to flow into your life so that you can live your purpose. That is just one of the ways that we allow money, wealth, financial abundance to flow to us so that our spirits, right? Many of us are doing a business that is the fulfillment of our heart's desire. That is your spirit expanding. And in order for your spirit to expand and for you to feel full and joyous about doing it, it has to be financially successful, right? Yes, we want to make impact, but If I'm impacting the world and I can't pay my bills, my spirit will not be fulfilled. And so we understand that we need both, and everything that's needed will be bountifully provided. I like want to go so much further into that, but I think I did a whole week on it, and my intention is that you got it when I said that. And then part two is to understand that there is a science to this. There is a science for getting rich, and it is an exact science. Once you learn it, you understand it, and you apply it, the guarantee is yours. Once you learn it, you understand it, and that last piece, and you apply it, then the guarantee of wealth is yours. And then last week I talked about how can you feel certain? How can you trust? How can you know, that this wealth that you desire, sometimes I think the ego and the limited mind and the smaller mind gets in the way and causes us to think thoughts that are not the truth. And so my intention last week, part three, was to just remind you, to give you what you need to hold on to, so this is a fact for you. Wealth and wealth with ease is a fact for you. And the proof is, if you didn't have everything that it takes to express wealth, to create wealth, to experience wealth, you would not have the desire for it. The fact that you have the desire for wealth. Look, there are millions of people in the world. They're not part of this conversation. There are lots of people who because you desire wealth, because you desire financial well-being and taking yourself to the next level, you probably can't imagine that there are some people who don't want it. I remember, I'm never going to forget when I had my prior business, I had a chain of hair salons. And because I'm such an achiever, all I wanted to do was to give the staff members every opportunity to, go to the next level, to take their careers to the next level. So I was always looking, you want to be manager, you want to be shift leader, you want to, go get some training in Minneapolis, like always looking for opportunities to take them up the ladder in their career. And I was dumbfounded when one of the ladies said to me, no, I don't want any of those things. I couldn't understand it because I am so driven. I want the next level. I want to keep going. But she didn't. And it was the first time in my life. I was in my 30s when I experienced this. It was the first time in my life. And probably I had seen it before then, but I didn't pay attention to it. I'd seen other people who didn't have the same drive or desire like I did, but I didn't pay attention to it because to me, that couldn't be a possibility. And as I've grown older, I've come to just honor that there are people who don't have the same, they don't want to go where I want to go. Right. And so the fact that you're a part of this conversation means you have the desire for wealth. And that also means you have everything. You are already equipped. You have the goods. You have the greatest proof that it is your destiny to experience wealth because you have the desire for it. God would not give you the desire for something without the means to fulfill it. Wouldn't happen. Just like I know, I have no desire to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro, zero desire because I don't have what it takes. I have no desire to run a marathon because I don't have what it takes. I just know that about myself. I have the desire for wealth because I have what it takes, as do you, right? So let that be your greatest proof that you have what it takes. And now we want to go into part four today, which is, I said in my email, the law of gravity will work for you every time. It's a law, which means it works no matter where you are, who you are, what you're doing. It's a law. It always works. And there's something that you have to do, right? We're going to just use where we use the example of the apple to demonstrate the law of gravity. Notice though, that in order for us to experience the law of gravity at work, we have to throw the apple up. There's something that we have to do in order to see this law at work. And the law of wealth requires us to take action in order for it to work. So we have this incredible law that is in our favor, that works every single time. It's our guarantee. It's the thing that allows us to know this. There is a law of wealth. It works for everyone, just like the law of gravity. And I can count on it if I remember what it says, learn it, understand it, and apply it. That last piece, applying it, requires action. And in my email, I said there's so many people that I see who, for all intents and purposes, they do all of the parts of manifesting. They put 1,000% into all the parts, right? So they work on their mindset. They do everything to think positive thoughts. They visualize, they write their intentions, they have their boards up, they are in programs, they're listening to YouTube, they are doing everything to get the law to work. And then this one tiny piece is not being done. And that is action. I know, like I know, the science of getting rich says without action, we will not receive. Without throwing that apple up, it cannot come back down, right? So we cannot see the law in effect if we don't do something. And so we can't have the apple coming back down if we don't first throw it up. We can't see the law of wealth at work if we are not taking action. Without action, you are merely dreaming. Without taking action, you're merely dreaming. And without taking action, you cannot receive the wealth that you desire. That's just the way the formula works. That is the law. And it's beautiful though, because there's no missing piece now. You know all the parts, right? This final piece is where I see a lot of people, for all intents and purposes, they are merely dreaming. And the people who have wealth do this. They step out of being dreamers and into having wealth because they take action. And so this morning, I just want to, yes, and it's important to take the right action. I love that. I want to talk about two types of actions, right? Number one, I want to talk about inspired action. This is when you are doing all of the parts to get this law to work. You are doing your journaling, writing your intentions, visualizing, staying in the right mindset, doing all the spiritual pieces. And then now we know that without action, we cannot receive. So what's going to happen, it must happen, is you are going to be intuitively guided to the action that you must take. I know, like I know, my name is Tasha. This is the law. This is the way it works. If you are doing all of those things, you must receive intuition around what actions to take. And believe it or not, this is where a lot of people fall short. They get the guidance. They get the intuition. They get told exactly what to do. And then they don't do it. And then they don't do it. And then you will say, it's not working. I'm not seeing the results. It's not happening fast enough. And I will say, are you in action? Are you taking the inspired action that you were led to take? And sometimes that action is big. Sometimes it's small. Sometimes it's significant. Sometimes it's insignificant. Sometimes it's make a call. Sometimes it's take a course. Sometimes it's, go knock on somebody's door. I can't tell you what it's going to be. In my experience, it has been everything and nothing. It has been big and small. All I can tell you is every time I get guided to take action, I take it. And let me reframe that. Let me reframe that, because I'm not perfect. And so it's not 100% of the time. But what I can tell you is, because I know that this piece works, I do my very best. I do my absolute everything in my power best to take as many of those inspired actions as I possibly can. And I feel like I get rewarded for doing that. Like, it's kind of, you're a good steward of action, Tasha. So you know what? Here is the reward. Here is the result. Because I demonstrate my faith through my action. I don't judge the action. I don't think this is too big or too small, significant, insignificant. I just get the inspiration and I take the action. And sometimes, many times, it is crazy to me how the dots connect. Sometimes I'll take one action that has zero application to what I'm trying to manifest, but it just, I got guided to do it, so I just do it, right? So you have to start looking at, am I being inspired? Am I being guided? Is my intuition telling me to do something, but I'm procrastinating? I'm not doing it. I'm in fear. I'm allowing my limitations to stop me from taking the action. And then if you are, just be okay with the fact that that might be why the results are not there for you right now, right? For me, I have learned to become masterful at this piece, honoring my intuition and my inspiration and taking action. Part two of what I want to talk about with action is taking action with detachment. So one of the things that I see a lot of people do is that you now get inspired to take action, and then you assign this action must lead to this result. And so you take the action, and then sometimes you don't get the direct result of that action. And I'm going to give you an example. And you might think, oh my gosh, it's not working, so I'm not going to keep doing it. I'm not going to keep taking this action. And that's where you're going to get yourself in trouble. When you understand that the law says you must be in action, then you have to learn how to take action with detachment. Just be in the flow. Just take the action for the sake of taking the action. Don't take the action for the sake of the result. Being in action is part of the formula. The people who are moving, the people who are in momentum, the people who are in action receive. Those are the people that receive. The people who are sitting by and doing just the spiritual aspects. I am not saying you're not going to manifest and you're not going to receive. I'm telling you, though, that the people who are in action are going to be at the front of the manifesting line all the time, period, end of story. Because that's how the law works. And that's how the law works well, right? So it's like, for example, I can throw the apple up and it will fall back down. That's a law of gravity. And also the law of gravity works. If I just sit the apple down on a slanted table, it will eventually fall down, right? I don't take the action. I just put it down and it will eventually fall down. The law of gravity will still be at work. But if I want the results, if I want to see the law of gravity at work with speed, I have to do something. I have to take action. And so if that makes sense to you to understand, the comparison. You want to be in action, and you want to be in action with detachment. Just do it. And here's the thing, do it imperfectly. Don't, sometimes people are being stopped from taking action. I know I have been. I have a high standard of excellence, and it has also gotten in the way sometimes, right? So one of the things that I've had to learn is just to be okay that, you know what, it's not perfect yet. It's not perfect right now, but I'm in action. So be okay that you are taking imperfect action. Stay with micro actions. Just keep taking action every single day, right? And some days realize that today the action might be a big thing, tomorrow it might be a tiny thing. The next day it might be to rest. You might just be inspired to rest or to go take a walk. But keep yourself in the flow of receiving the inspiration and taking the action with detachment. One of my best examples of this from my lifetime, and I've had many, I was a chapter leader for an organization where every single month I had to get 30 women to lunch, or the restaurant said, we'll give you this price if you get per person, if you get 30 people to come to lunch. And if you don't get 30 people, if 20 people show up, you're still going to have to pay for lunch for 30, right? So me personally, I would have to pay. And so I understood the goal, get 30 people to lunch every single week. And so every week I picked up the phone. I had been networking a lot in my community, and so I had a long list of women that I had met and had their information, or I just went online and found it. And so every week I just made it my commitment. I was going to call 5 to 10 people every single week, plus the email that was going out. That was, that was just automatic action, right? But my personal action was to pick up the phone and call 5 to 10 women every week and just invite them to lunch. Well, every single week, bar none, if I called 10 women, one of the 10 would show up for lunch. Not 9, not 8, not 7, maybe one, maximum 2 of the 10 women that I would call. Sometimes none of the women I called showed up, but every single week I had 30 women or more. Those women would come from wherever they came from. Sometimes women that had been there would invite other people. Sometimes people would see it online. Sometimes people would get it from the email. They would see it on Meetup. However it happened, I always had 30 women or more. Now you would say, but Tasha, it wasn't your phone calls that got them there. Actually, because I didn't have attachment to the action leading to the result, I made the phone call. Because there would be other months where I didn't call those women. I had called them months before, but that month they showed up and made up my 30, right? So it taught me such a valuable lesson that I have to be in action, but act without attachment. Another thing that I want to share with you about action and getting this to work is that um, I I've been running, as a lot of you know, and one of the things that I realized with running, which I want to use to talk about this action piece, is that I noticed the difference between when I watch the time, right? So I run. It's a you run in intervals, and so it's timed. So for example, sometimes further on the journey, I have to run for like 3 sets, 20 minutes, 3 times with a minute rest in between. That's not easy for me. For those of you that are runners, kudos to you, right? So that first 20 minutes, probably not so bad. But when I get to that second 20 minutes of consistent running, man, I am so tempted to watch the time. When is this going to be over? Oh my God, how much longer do I have to go? And so I realized after a few times that actually watching the time makes it worse for me. When I watch the time, I start judging myself. I start saying I'm not good enough. I start wondering why I can't get it done faster. I wonder, why am I so tired? Why is it so long? Why do I want to stop? Why can't I just keep going? And if I stop to take a breath, like I'm supposed to run consecutively for 20 minutes, but sometimes I'm like spent and I will just stop for 20 seconds. And then I judge myself. Why did you stop? And then I start and I watch the time again, and maybe 30 seconds later, I stop again for 20 seconds. And now I'm really beating myself up, right? And so it took me a couple of times doing this before I realized watching the time is not supporting me, right? It's not. It's making things worse for me. And so it's back to the action with the detachment. If all I do is set the time and just run, just keep running. And even if I stop, I stop. But what I realize with a lot of people with action is you're doing what happens to me when I run. You're like, I took action for 2 days. There is no result. Tasha, there's no result. You said I was going to be wealthy. It's 2 days later, right? There's no result. Or the result is this and I wanted this. And you're constantly in measurement and you're constantly evaluating and justifying. And I am telling you that that is the space that your ego wants you to be in, because it cannot wait to prove to you that it's not working. It cannot wait. But what I've learned with running and what I've learned with taking action as part of this last piece of the formula is you will get the best results when you completely detach from the actions and just take them. Just be in flow, just run, just do it. That's right, Nike. Just do it. Period. Don't judge it. Don't look back. Don't evaluate. Just do it. And I'm not saying don't evaluate like loosely. Like don't be taking the same action for a year and not getting any results. You have to know in your spirit you're doing the right thing, right? But what I also want you to evaluate is, am I taking the right action? Because sometimes our ego will cause us to say, you know what? you're doing so good. You're getting up every day and you're going into your office and you're sitting at your computer and you're doing research. You are in action. But you know what? If you've been doing research for 90 days, 120 days, and you're not knowing in your spirit that you're moving towards your goal or you're seeing result, like when I run, yes, I stop. Yes, I beat myself up. Yes, I go through all of that. But at some point I go, I just ran for an hour. I just did it. I just ran 6 miles, right? So no matter what happened in between, I know I'm getting the result. I did run for an hour. I did run 6 miles. So you have to evaluate if the action that you are taking is leading to the right result at some point. But it's not like the constant looking back and judging. Stay in um, Serena says, oh, measuring, oh, my ego and the past. Just do it. That's it. Just do it. I think that's the best way that I can, share this with you. And so my parting question for you this morning, and Sylvia, yes, thank you. Celebrate the actions that you have taken, right? Like at the end of that run that day, I said to myself, here I am beating myself up, but I just ran for 6 miles, period. Like at the end of the day, I just ran 6 miles this morning, right before 8 a.m. That is huge. Imperfectly, I did it. I got it done. So I want to ask all of you that's here, to type this question right now, not for you to answer it in the moment. Maybe the answer will come immediately, but for you to reflect on this week. And here is the question. I had it written out in my journal, in my thing here. Okay, here we go. I found it. What do I have a strong desire to do to create wealth? What is it that I have a strong desire to do to create wealth? What is the action? In other words, what is the action that I am being intuited, guided, just inspired to take? No judgment around what it is, but just ask yourself, because that inspiration, that intuition is the thing that you need to be taking action on now. Act in the present. You can't act in the past. You can't act in the future. You can only act now. And every single one of us, bar none, if you are living this law of wealth, if you have the desire for wealth, then it means that you also have everything that is required to experience it. And you will be provided with everything that you need to do, which includes you will be inspired on the actions that you need to take. So, what are you being inspired? What is it that you have a strong desire to do? What are you being inspired in action to take on that desire? Right? And you get to think about that, process it, and then take the action. Just do it. And with that, I want to say, everyone that's here, especially those of you that are watching by Facebook, I'm going to ask you all to do me a huge favor, and that is to type the word reminder. Even if you think you're on our reminder system, the team has asked me, have everyone type the word reminder, because what we have is a system that you are all signed up for. Many of you are signed up for, but it expires. So at a certain point, you're not going to get reminders anymore about when the Facebook lives are, when I'm going live, all the things that we use the Facebook Messenger bot to share with you is going to go away if you are not renewed. So we don't know. Each person has a different renewal date. So we're just asking everyone, can you type the word reminder in the comments? Check Facebook Messenger. It's going to tell you if you need to update your choice for being reminded, and just take care of that so that you can get all the notifications. All right, type the word reminder, get it all in there. Make sure you're getting all of the notifications. It's going to be a great summer. Lots of amazing things. I'm sure you probably saw on social media. We had a meeting with our team last week. We all got together, brainstormed, masterminded, came up with lots and lots of ideas, all kinds of fun and amazing new things coming down just to support you on this journey and to make a lot of this material even more accessible than it's ever been. So you want to make sure you're in the know. All right, type the word reminder and check Facebook Messenger and just get yourself renewed and updated. With that, my wonderful, amazing women and a few good men. I see you, Sean, and a few good men. Thank you for spending every Monday morning here with me. I am so grateful to be able, I really do. I wake up on Monday mornings, every morning that I'm going to have some teaching or some sharing. And I really just ask God to turn up his presence in me so that it's God that speaks through me for you. And my prayer always is that whatever comes out of me serves you and not only allows you to transform, but really we're all here because we want results, right? We want wealth with ease. And so I'm not here to motivate you because I'll have to do that forever and ever and ever. I'm here to inspire you and to teach you and to get you in action so that you get the results that your heart desires. There's something that I'm going to say that's just going to move the needle for you. That is my heart's desire. And so thank you for showing up every Monday morning to receive what God chooses to channel through me. And I truly, truly, truly desire that you are seeing the results of all of this in your lives. Mwah. I love you. Have a great Monday and an amazing rest of the week. Bye, everyone.